Ah, my goodness. We have waited, guys. We have really waited. It's literally been a month. It's been a month of waiting. Mikel Merino to Arsenal. Here we go. Finally, it has been confirmed by Fabrizio Romano. We knew it was coming around this time this week. I was thinking maybe Wednesday or something, but it ended up coming on Thursday. Mikel Merino is finally going to be an Arsenal player. We've waited a lot for this one. Man, we had to wait a full month for the Calafiori one. We had to wait a full month for the Merino one. We are very patient as Arsenal fans. We are very patient. I don't think there's anyone as patient as Arsenal fans. But it's finally done, guys. It's finally done. We can finally celebrate the Mikel Merino deal. And this is what Fabrizio has had to say about this. Mikel Merino to Arsenal. Here we go. The three words we've been waiting for all this time. It's finally here. Verbal agreement in place for Spanish midfielder to join the Gunners. 32 million euros plus 5 million in add-ons with favorable payment terms. Contract until 2028. So for those who are asking, it is a 4-year contract, so that will take him until like 32 years of age. Arsenal are closing in on Merino deal since the end of July. Merino only wanted Arsenal. Fabrizio says Arsenal are closing in on the Merino deal since the end of July. It feels like we've been closing in on this deal since like the end of January or something like that. It's been a long time, but we finally have our signing. I could see the frustration from you guys every single time, like in the comments section over the last 2 weeks. I mean, I always knew it was going to happen, just like the Calafiori one. Never doubted it at all. It was always going to happen. You've had a lot of confirmations from Fabrizio, from a lot of journalists from Spain. The player himself already chose Arsenal, Atletico Madrid, and Barcelona, and all those guys. So it was definitely going to happen. At first, Real Sociedad asked for 30 million euros. I think they changed their mind in terms of that, and now they wanted a package of close to 37 million euros, maybe even 40 million euros. Those talks about them wanting close to 40 million euros. So we've managed to negotiate that down to 37 million euros. So 32 million first, and then 5 million in add-ons later on with favorable payment terms. I'm actually hearing, I don't know the exact details, so don't take my word for this one. I'm hearing that we could be paying them 9 million per year for the 4 years. So if that is actually the case, Edu has worked a crazy one right there. That would be a very incredible deal. If you're actually going to pay them something like 9 million per year, that's very, very good. Because listen, there's the PSI and everything going on with the money in terms of the transfers and everything. It's very difficult these days. So I think Edu has worked one there. If you're actually going to pay them 9 million per year, that's going to be a very, very good deal. So some people still believe that some people feel like that 7 million is too much for Merino. Let me know in the comments. Do you feel like 37 million package in euros is too much for Merino? Do you think we should be paying 25 million, 26 million in euros? Let me calculate that in pounds right now. 35, let's see, pounds, euros to pounds. Let's see. I'm sure someone has it in the comments already. Let's see how much that is in pounds. So 32 million euros in pounds. That is, let's see, that is 27 million pounds. So you've paid 27 million pounds upfront, and then in terms of a total package, that is 31 million pounds. So 31 million pounds for a player who's just won the Euros. I don't think that is a bad deal. A player who's very experienced like Mikel Merino, 28 years of age, I don't think is too old. No, we signed the likes of Trossard and Jorginho around that age, and they've done the job for us. I really don't think like it's too much money to pay for him. It would have been such a great market opportunity if we had ended up paying 23, 24 million pounds for him, yes. But I don't think it's a deal that you could have said, nah, actually, no, you know what? Real Sociedad wants more money. Let's forget about him. Let's go for a different player. No, I think that is a very, very good price for him. And the fact that we've been able to negotiate it to the point where we're going to pay them in installments, in like 4-year installments, that is great. So those are the reasons why, that is the reason why this deal has taken a lot of time. Maybe a week, 2-3 weeks ago, they wanted 30 million. I actually looked back at one of my videos I did that in 3 weeks ago, and they actually had said that they want 30 million euros, and then they changed that to 40 million euros at some time last week. So that is one part of it. And then Arsenal were willing to get closer to that, but they're not willing to pay it all at once. So they are willing to negotiate it down, and that is why it takes a lot of time. So the moment you arrive to that 37 million package, Arsenal will try then to negotiate it down to, you know what, you're going to pay it at 2 million first and then 5 million in add-ons. And then they'll be like, okay. And then Arsenal want to negotiate it again after that. They'll be like, you know what, we can't pay you this money all at once. We're going to pay in installments. And then Sociedad have to decide on that. And then it takes another 2 weeks. It takes a lot of time. Yes, I don't think there's anyone who takes as much time as Arsenal in terms of doing transfers. But in terms of outgoings, I usually don't have a problem with like Edin Ketcher, for example. If you're going to get 7 million extra and 2 weeks means you're going to get 7 million extra, I have no problem in terms of waiting for that. The new signings coming in, I usually prefer them obviously coming to us before the preseason starts. You know, get the players in, get them ready for preseason, have them training with the team, have them play like 4 or 5 preseason games, and then they're ready for the season. Most of our transfers the last 3 years have been like that. Lokonga arrived early, Tavares arrived early, Ben White arrived, I think, when the Euros was going on. Jesus arrived early, Vieira, Declan Rice, Havertz, Timber, all of those guys arrived before preseason started. So we have done incredible work in terms of that the last 3 years. This time it has taken a longer time. I don't know if it's the Euros that has affected it or in terms of Calafiori and Merino. Maybe I would have liked to know if there was no Euros this year when you'd have actually signed these players. But hey, it's done. It's now done. This is our third official signing of the transfer window. It's finally done. The player is finally here. The player wanted to join Arsenal, and that is another reason you couldn't have really gone for another player. He really wanted to join Arsenal. I think he can already speak in English already because he was playing for Newcastle before. So that is perfect for us. And another reason why I couldn't have left him is because of these stats that you looked. It feels like we looked at these stats 4 months ago. Like it's been so long. The fact that Mikel Merino was number 1 in terms of duels won in the top 7 European leagues last season. That is why it has been pushing for him like that. That is why they couldn't like change their mind and say, you know what, we're not going to go for Merino. We've changed our mind. Number 1 in the top 7 European leagues in terms of duels won. So he's definitely bringing some quality to Arsenal. He's bringing experience to Arsenal. He's bringing the winning mentality to Arsenal. He's just won the Euros with Spain. So it can't go wrong. I don't think it's going to go wrong. Now, the other question is he going to be a starter for Arsenal, or is he going to be a bench player coming off the bench to help out Rice and Partey? What do you guys think? Do you think Merino should be a starter for sure? He should be starting games for us, starting from Brighton next week, or do you think he should be coming off the bench rotating? Or are we going to see this midfield, the 3 of them? Now, there was a lot of talk. I still think Partey is going to stay. But there was a lot of talk about him after that performance against Wolves. I mean, I didn't really look too much into it. I usually give players a pass because it's the first game of the season. I don't expect players to be 100% ready. But could we actually end up seeing this midfield with Rice playing as a number 6, sometimes Merino playing as a number 6, sometimes Rice playing as a number 8, and sometimes Merino playing as a number 8? We could see that, like, be unpredictable to the opponents. We could see that because those stats, Arteta loves players who can win duels. So for me, I don't really have a fast team in my head. I'm like, listen, let's rotate these players. Let's get some game. We have Rice, Merino, and Odegaard. Some games we'll have Jorginho, Rice, and Odegaard. Some games we can have Partey, Odegaard and Vieira. It doesn't really matter. This is an opportunity to rotate the players. Last season, we had to play Declan Rice and Odegaard way too many times. Like, there's sometimes I was looking at our lineup, I'm like, Declan Rice is playing again, not because they're not good players, no, because they had played so many games and there was no opportunity of resting them at all. Now, like, Declan Rice went off with an injury with cramp against Wolves. We literally had to bring in Gabriel Jesus and bring back Havertz to midfield. Like, we had to change a couple of things because we didn't really have anyone else to come in for Declan Rice. Jorginho cannot really play as a number 8. You cannot really move Partey to the number 8. They're literally just number 6s. So right now, if Rice is tired, like in the 60th minute, you just throw in Mikel Merino. He comes into that position. He does the job for you. He brings in that experience. And the fact that he has, he's played with Odegaard before at Sociedad and they have that connection, I can't wait for them to play together. I can't wait for them to see how they work out together. His combination with Partey, his combination with Declan Rice, it's going to be very interesting. Now, one thing that when I'm looking at this team that we have right now, these big boys, and the fact that we have Declan Rice was very good in terms of interceptions in midfield and tackles and ball carrying and all that, and we're bringing in someone who's very good at duels. We could actually last season you had games where we were conceding 1 shot on target the whole game. Like, if we can, I think we can actually match that. Now with Calafiori in this team, with Timber in this team, with Merino added to this team and Partey fit now, there's situations where we can have games where we only have one shot on target conceded again. I really hope that is the case because this is a very, very strong midfield that we've built. And if added Merino on top of that, that is very, very good. I'm really happy that Jorginho stayed. I'm very happy that Partey stayed. At the beginning of the transfer window, my main priority, I said I wanted a midfielder first, I wanted a striker second, and I wanted a backup for Saka third. That was my order in terms of priority. I did say if you're selling Partey, I think we have to get two midfielders because I don't think it's easy to replace him. But I also said if Partey does stay, I think we need like one midfielder. So does Merino count as that midfielder? Yeah, I'm happy to have Merino there. Partey, Jorginho, Merino, and Rice. I think that is a good midfield. And on top of that, you have Odegaard and you have Vieira. Hopefully, if he stays, hopefully we do see the best of Vieira this season. I do think, especially if we get a forward play, I do think we're still going to see Havertz in midfield in some games. There's a few games, I think in the Emirates Cup, Havertz in midfield and Trossard on the left side, it worked. So I think we're going to see Havertz in midfield in some games, especially if we get a strike. I think we're going to see Havertz in midfield in like 50% of those games. I think Havertz is definitely going to start. I don't think you're going to be seeing Havertz on the bench. So that is a very good team. That is a very solid team. Looking at our team from 3 years ago, come on, this is a very, very good team that we've built. Do we still need more? Absolutely. Like if you add a striker into this team right now, I think very many people will be buzzing. So I cannot wait to see what happens next up. So again, what Fabrizio said, Mikel Merino to Arsenal, here we go. Verbal agreement in place for Spanish midfielder to join the Gunners, 32 million euros plus 5 million in add-ons. That is 31 million pounds. Favorable payment terms, contract until 2028. So question for you guys, do you think is worth that 31 million pounds, or do you think we've overpaid? Just let me know. Do you think it's just right worth it or overpaid? Let me know. So I'll come to the rest of the news, but let me see what you guys are saying in the comments. Johnny says, thank you for real. Thanks for real for the real update. For your update. Okay. Hopefully we shall get a striker soon. Hopefully that is the next thing. Nketiah is heading closer to joining Nottingham Forest. I think we're definitely going to replace him. I don't think we're going to sell Nketiah, not to bring anyone else. I will prefer Gyökeres now that Lookman. I've seen stories about Lookman, but I usually don't like jumping on stories that quickly, especially if it's not like 100% like confirmed. So I have not talked about Lookman. I have seen the stories though, but do I think it's going to happen? I don't think so. Now Edu must add a winger or striker, then I will be happy, says Diana. I think we're going to get one. I don't think we're going to get two more signings. We are going to get two more signings, but one of them is going to be a goalkeeper. So that is how it's going to be. So yeah, maybe a forward player and a goalkeeper. So which forward player? I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be a winger or it's going to be a striker. Let's wait and see. Let's hope it's a striker. We have paid what they have demanded for Merino, but clubs are struggling to pay £30 million for Nketiah. Says Bombs. People will play for Nketiah. People will play for Nketiah. Don't worry. We'll finally get that money. For me, you don't sell Nketiah until you get that 30 million. We are going to get it. Don't worry. Congratulations to Arsenal family for bringing another one. Hi, Glenn. I will be happy when Gyökeres wears Arsenal jersey, says Mark. Now, the Gyökeres one, 2 weeks ago, it was easier to sign Gyökeres than Osimhen because Osimhen was more expensive and the season hadn't started, and Osimhen was complicated because of a lot of different reasons, and Gyökeres seemed to be the easier one. Right now, Gyökeres is the one that seems more complicated because Osimhen is not playing for Napoli. He's not in the squad, but Gyökeres has already started this season with Sporting, so he'll need a lot of time to convince them to sell him in the middle of the season. So it's going to be very, very hard. Right now, all of a sudden, it looks like Osimhen would be easier. But let's see. Maybe they have another striker in mind that we've not heard about. That would be great. As long as you just get a forward player who can score goals, I'd be happy with that. Make sure to hit the like button, by the way. There's 231 of you on FB and 174 of you on YouTube. Thank you for being here. That's a fantastic signing, says Moses. A winger as backup for Saka and a striker remains to complete the squad and set us to win trophies, including the Premier League and Champions League this season and other seasons to come, says Almans. I'm happy you've added other seasons to come, for sure. we win something this season. We don't want just to win something this season. We want to win things for the next 5 years as well. Time to get a clinical striker, says Godwill. Jersey number 10 for Merino. It hasn't been confirmed yet. That's the other question. Is he going to be wearing the number 10? Is he going to be wearing the number 16? Are we going to give him the number 14? Who knows? This is what I was waiting to happen since I watched this guy in Euros. Is unbelievable. He can really fit in our soccer. Malish says soccer. Okay. 28.5 million, says Emmanuel. Yeah, the first one is 28.5 million. That's right. 31 million in terms of total package. 37 million is not enough for Merino. That's a nice price. Congratulations. People say he's old. I don't agree with that. I think that is the correct amount. Like, if you're to ask me, just watch Merino at Sociedad, watch him at Spain, how much money would you pay? I'd probably say 28 to 30 million pounds. So we've paid 31 million pounds. I think that is fair enough. Are we allowed to see Victor Osimhen in Arsenal jersey, says Mohammed. I am happy to hear from you, bro, says George. Thank you. Saying Merino has signed us has signed for us for 37 million euros. That is correct. 37 million, yeah. 32 million first and then 5 million in add-ons. I'm in jubilation to see that midfield of Thomas, Merino, Odegaard. Which shirt number do you think he may get? I'm going to predict maybe 16 or 10. 10 is difficult. I don't know who we're going to give 10. Who are we going to give 14 after Nketiah, by the way? Those two numbers will be free. The Thierry Henry and Dennis Bergkamp numbers will be free. That is interesting. But I think, let's see. I think we had this news before. I only want to see him signing with Ateta and Edu representing. No, we've never had Arsenal, Merino to Arsenal. Here we go, Musa. This is the first time we've had that for sure. Kenny says, wow. Good evening, Mr. Glenn. This is enjoyable moments. I'm happy to hear from you, bro, says Musa. Thank you. Finally, here we go for Merino, says Onibudo. A lot of people are happy. Like, if you read the comments from yesterday and the previous 2 days, like I was even having a hard time reading the comments because people are so mad and like, why are we taking so much time? Ray, bro, how are you? Let's get Simon Adingra now, says Jamal. There's been links to Adingra, there's been links to Lokman, there's been links to a few other wingers, but this is what Team News and Ticks and Charles Watts have just reported before I came live 10 minutes ago. So can I find it here? So there's still another winger we are looking at. So can I get it here? So basically, Team News and Ticks and Charles Watts, who are also very good in terms of transfer news, they've said Arsenal are still trying to sign Nico Williams. This is their words. This is what they wrote. Arsenal are still trying to sign Nico Williams. No one ever said Arsenal have stopped trying to sign Nico Williams. Nico Williams has never actually said no to Arsenal. So according to reports, Arsenal have not stopped trying to sign Nico Williams. They are still trying, and no one has ever said that Arsenal have stopped signing Nico Williams. In my head, I've always imagined he's going to stay there. I've always said those Spanish players. I'm actually very happy that Merino has joined us. Those Spanish players, most of them prefer staying there. So I would have seen, like, I would have thought that he would stay there after getting a new shirt number as well. I think he's gotten a new shirt number over there. I'm thinking he's going to stay there. But according to reports, people are saying Arsenal are still going to try and sign Nico Williams between now and the end of the season. It's going to be a very hard one to do. If we pull off one of those deals, Nico Williams or Gyökeres or Osimhen, I'm going to be happy with any of them, to be honest. I'll be buzzing with any of them. Now, question for you guys. If we say right now Arsenal are going to sign Nico Williams for 60 million, but they're not going to sign a striker, are you going to be happy with that, or do you think that is still not enough? We seriously need a striker. Forget about Nico Williams. Would you guys be happy if we ended up getting Nico Williams and not get a striker? If that is the case, Nico Williams would be a big signing. I don't think there's a way we'd get both, like Nico Williams and get a striker as well. But Nico Williams, according to reports from Team News and Ticks and Charles Watts, it's still in the pipeline. Arsenal are still trying to sign them. So who knows? Maybe Edward traveled to Spain last week to try and get that signing, trying to get the details for that signing, and not really Merino. Who knows? But that is the latest in terms of that. Unique says, congratulations. But I am expecting us to sign another outfield player for sure. But who? I don't know. Let's hope we do get a big signing between now and the end of the transfer window. We still have 8 days to go. I'm hoping we get someone big in terms of a forward signing. Rice should wear the number 14, says Musa. Rice really loves the number 41. I've heard his story. He really likes the number 41, so I don't think he's going to change from that. I hope Arsenal sign a striker before the end of the transfer market, please, says Musa. We'll still need a wing and a striker. I don't think we're going to get both. I think it's going to be very difficult to get both unless they get someone on loan or something like that. Maybe they get someone on loan with an obligation to buy later on. I don't think you're going. Listen, I'd like to be surprised if you go and get a wing and you get a striker. Oh, happy days. Happy days. We are ready for the rest of the season. But if you get just a forward player, these days it's so hard to get a forward who can also play as a winger. Like if you can get someone who can play as a wing and a forward as well, that would be so good. Saka 7 should wear the number 14 because he's a living legend. No, he's good with the 7. No need to put that pressure on him. The 14, I don't know who's going to get the 14. Listen, whoever you're going to sign, the wing or the striker, maybe gets the number 14 or the number 10. I'll be very happy if Arsenal signed Lookman, says a normal. Hi Glenn. No, George, not from the UK. Friday says, I'm very excited to hear this news. Your is the next, please. Welcome to Emirates, home of one family, says Mikel Merino. Says Mikel Merino, I wish. Says Asongu. I'm really happy to hear this. I'm the happiest man in the world right now, says Mary Baker. Congratulations to all Arsenal fans. Merino, here we go. Number 14 will be Osimhen. Babu Oz already given the number 14 to Osimhen. Interesting. I've seen people from yesterday saying Osimhen to Arsenal is fake news. It's definitely not fake news. I've seen it from a couple of other reporters as well, especially from the Italian one. So it can still happen, but we have to be patient with that, and hopefully it doesn't end up joining Chelsea or something like that. They do have something that Chelsea have, as I said yesterday. Chelsea, something that Napoli wants. Napoli wants Lukaku from them. So let's hope it's not related. The mystery signing will be completed next week, and Merino will wear the number 23, says Emerson. That's a possibility as well. There's still the mystery German signing as well. Who knows? I'll be happy to see the Nigerian striker in an Arsenal shirt, says King Moses. I think even only a winger, says Shadrach. I don't know. I feel like we have listen, if you get Nico Williams for 60 million, I'm still going to be very happy. That still means you're going to be adding to our goals. But yeah, we do need a clinical striker because we've never really tried getting a clinical striker. We've tried signing defenders, we've tried signing goalkeepers, wingers, midfielders. The only one that we've never really tried is a striker. So maybe that's the last piece of the puzzle. Maybe if you get a striker, we become unstoppable. Because right now, the Arsenal team that we have, as I always say, if Man City are not in this league, I think we win the league with the team that we have without even signing a striker. But the fact that Man City is here and they've brought back Gundogan, a guy who's won them like 3 Premier League titles. Big contract to the Arsenal midfield, says King Power. Big congrats to the Arsenal midfield. That is good for them. Come Arsenal, but we need a striker. Maybe our playing style doesn't need a striker. Maybe our playing style doesn't need a striker. Now, listen, I do agree with that, but as I've said, the fact that you're competing with Man City and you're competing with Real Madrid, I think we need a striker. If you aren't competing with those teams, I agree with you. I don't think we even need to sign anyone. But the fact that you're competing with those teams, we do need a forward player. We do need a forward player because that is another position that we've never really tried. So let's try it and see how it goes. That is good for them. Read that one. Welcome to the home of beautiful football, Mikel Merino, says Emmanuel. We need a striker by all means, my humble opinion, says Xavier. A lot of people agree with you. Please, Edwin Attacker, now go for Victor Yokore, says Anthony. Emmanuel says, well, to the best club in London, Mikel, now give us Yokore's Mr. Eduardo. Jamal says, vamos. Yeah, welcome to Arsenal, Mikel Merino. Mr. Glenn, Arsenal can't sign Lookman because he's older. Personally, I've not done a video talking about Merino joining us, Lookman joining Arsenal, but I have seen talk about that, and I don't think Lookman is old. The whole old is Lookman. Lookman is definitely not old. I've been watching him since the Aston Villa days when he was scoring, I think, on his debut against United. Lookman is 26 years of age. He's not old. 26 is not old. Let's see. Let me take a couple more. Glenn, I suggest we sign Gyökeres and get a wing on loan. I'm very happy for this news, says Jamil. I like Havertz making runs and can get us headers. I agree, Bagav. His runs in behind are very good, and that header that we saw against Wolves, that was a striker's goal. Some games he can go into midfield. However, can we get a target man for teams that take away the wings? So yeah, that is why that's another reason I want us to get a striker. One, we've never really tried signing an out-and-out striker. Let's try it. Number two, taking the pressure away from the likes of Havertz and Saka. Number three, we are competing with Man City and the likes of Real Madrid and Bayern Munich, so we have to have a formidable squad. Number four, as you said, some games the wings can be taken away. We can just, loop one long ball to the striker like an Osimhen and ask him to bully the defenders. That can also work out for us if you have a striker running in behind, a quick, pacey, energetic and physical striker. That can help us. And also in the games where you're going to only get one or two chances, that can also help us. And as I mentioned yesterday, our players that were put in named in the PFA Team of the Year, if you look at this team, there's a goalkeeper there, there's two defenders there, there's two midfielders there. Guess which position we don't have in that picture? A striker. So if we have a striker there, we could easily have 6 or 7 players in the PFA Team of the Year. But you have no one to compete with Haaland. We have Saka who competes with Foden. We have Saliba who competes with Diaz and those guys in terms of getting mentioned in the PFA Team of the Year. We have players like Declan Rice who gets mentioned alongside Rodri. We have players like Odegaard who gets mentioned next to De Bruyne. We don't have anyone who we can mention next to Haaland. So that is the only position where we need to get someone. Hi, Glenn, big fan. I hope you find the time to make daily videos in the near future, says I'm a vegan. I always make videos every single day. The days that I skip is like if there's no news at all, yeah, like there's no need of bringing Broma, so I usually skip those days. But thank you for supporting. I'm so happy, says Opeyemi. Let me take a couple more, please. And please, let's say Jack Osman from Chelsea says Chidie. I don't think he's close to joining Chelsea, though. I don't think. Mr. Glenn, if you're to sign one more player, that should be Gyökeres, because that guy can play well in both wings as well as the number 9. You know something with Gyökeres this season. Gyökeres just played 3 games this season. He's already scored 3 goals and 2 assists. The last 2 weeks, he has 5 goal returns in 3 games. Crazy. Like, he's still scoring the way you're scoring last season. So it was not like a lucky season. He's still scoring the same way he was scoring last season. So when you say we haven't tried to sign a striker, do you mean in Mikel's tenure? Yeah, that's what I mean. Because we've tried Vlahovic and Sesko. Like, we've not really... Okay, not tried. We have tried signing a striker. We've tried Sesko, Vlahovic, as you've said. I mean, in terms of we've not really signed a striker into the team. Like, we've not confirmed a real striker who scored 30 goals before. We've been linked to strikers, but we never really signed one. Jesus, you can count him, but... Jesus has never really been a striker who can score 25 to 30 goals. So I'm talking about Isaac, Watkins, players like that. Players who scored 25, 30 goals before, players. We had players like Aubameyang or Van Persie. If you had Aubameyang in his prime today, that would be excellent. So we've never really been able to sign a striker. Not tried. Let me not use the word tried. Like, we've never been able to sign a striker. We've tried every other position, including goalkeepers, fullbacks, and it has worked. Our fullbacks are really good nowadays. Ben White, Calafiori, Timber. Our defenders are really good. We brought back Saliba, Gabriel, fantastic signing back in 2020. Midfield, Declan Rice, superb signing. Partey, a superb signing. Odegaard was an absolutely incredible signing. All those players, it has worked. But the only positions we've never really tried is a striker. So if you can get an out-and-out striker, if you can also play as a winger, well and good. Welcome to Arsenal. Merino says, Boster, we need a striker to compete with Gyökeres, and Gyökeres suits the bill and our style, says Emmanuel. Good news for the team to get Merino, but we still need more additions if you had to challenge Man City this season, says, is it Gabriel or Gabriel? Hi, good news as we complete the signing of Mikel Merino. It's obvious for us to look for a striker for us to compete with City. I think we're going to make another 2 signings between now and 30th. One of them is going to be a goalkeeper, and then hopefully one of them is a striker. I think Nketiah is going to leave. I think Ramsdale is going to leave. For Kivio and Nelson, I don't know. I think Nelson is very important in terms of us getting a forward player. I think we'll also need to sell Nelson. I don't know if he's going to go though, because there's not too many teams that have put in bids for Nelson. So Nelson, I'm not sure if he's going to leave. In KTM, 100% he's going to leave, and I'm sure you're going to get that 30 million, as I've always said. Nelson and Kiwi, I'm not sure. I think those are the only players who are going to leave Arsenal, have a chance of leaving Arsenal. All the others, I think, are going to stay. So still good times, still good times. One more comment. Let's see. Did I read this one? Peniel says a verbal agreement, the president will revoke the deal. One Lookman and a striker. So that is great. That is great. There'll be another video coming up for sure. There's definitely more news to talk about. Would that Sami Omorodion work at Arsenal? The way I saw Chelsea fans reacting, Bagav, the way I saw Chelsea fans crying when they were close to signing Sami Omorodion. They're not happy, but he's too young, though. I want a very experienced striker. Is he like 20, 21 or something like that? I don't even know. But yeah, he's never really played for Atletico. He's only played for, is it Alaves or something like that? But yeah, no, that would not be the answer. But don't be surprised if you ended up signing a player like that. Lloyd says, why is the respect for Jonathan David? The guy scores 20 plus goals every season. That's an interesting one, Lloyd. A lot of he's been linked to us before. He's been linked to several teams before, but he's always stayed at Lille. Like he's never been signed. I wonder why, though. Gyökeres and Jonathan David and Santiago Jimenez don't want Osimhen in my team. Please just go watch him. He's bad on the ball. Interesting. Now, if you're looking for a playing style, a player who can assist and score and all that, Gyökeres is definitely better than Osimhen. But if you're just looking for someone who's going to score, tap in rebounds, head the ball, bully the defenders, run in behind, then Osimhen can still work in terms of that. We don't really have a player like that. Jimenez, Nottingham have also tried to sign Jimenez, and I think they made a bid of 30 million. It was rejected. So if you want to get Jimenez, we'll probably have to go to like 50 million. Jonathan David, that's an interesting one. It has gone quiet. Like I've not had anyone being interested in Jonathan David recently. He even does well for Canada as well. We need striker. We do not have a problem in our midfield. Says Stewart. I don't agree with that. I thought we needed another midfielder. For sure. Actually, the midfield was my priority even before a striker, so I'm happy you got Merino. Good news to all Arsenal fans around the world. The only missing link is Gyökeres. They should sell Partey, says Jolene. Not now. We can't afford to sell Partey right now, because if you sell Partey right now, that means you still need to go get another midfielder again. We don't have time to do that. I don't think Partey is going to leave. I think he's going to stay. I don't know if you're going to convince him to sign another 1-year contract after, because this is his final year. If he doesn't sign a contract, he's going to leave for free at the end of the season. So unless you're going to convince him to sign for 1 year, and then maybe at the end of the season we sell him and get like 10 million or something, I don't know how that one is going to go. So we are buying. So we are not buying a striker, says Geoffrey. No one say that. I think there's no need to revoke deal. We only need strikers who can punch goals, says Phoebe. Glenn, greetings from Sierra Leone, Freetown, West Africa, says John. Says thank you guys for being here. We'll have another video. We'll have the preview for Arsenal, Aston Villa. We are playing Aston Villa again. Aston Villa. Both those videos will be out today. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch up with you on the next one.